Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Robert Ziggy Ziegler up at Harvard University for this Packers-Giants preview episode. If you want, we're going to have the Vikings-Bears preview out today. We're going to have the Lions-Eagles out today. Tomorrow, Friday, will be the Week 11 prediction episode. Scheduling conflicts had us basically forced to move that show to Friday this week. They're normally out on Thursdays. But we appreciate everyone tuning in. This is a massive, massive game for the Green Bay Packers to, I would actually say, save their season. A loss here for the Packers to 5-4-1 with Minnesota coming up. Not that we're, a daunting task, but you have Minnesota, then you have Detroit on the road on Thanksgiving. This feels like a part in the year now, Ziggy, where if the Packers don't right the ship here now over these next 2 weeks, a once very promising season can completely slip away. And as 7-point road favorites, I mean, how many times, against the Browns, against the Panthers, like big favorites, the Packers have let their fans down. And here we are again. This one's not in Green Bay. I like the Panther one was. What are your initial gut predictions telling you about the Packers big favorites on the road in New York?
I'm not going to look too much at history here because they are facing a quarterback that is different than all the quarterbacks they've faced before. They will be facing Jameis Winston for this game.
Is that prediction or is official?
Starter.
That's official now?
Yeah, he has been announced as the starter.
Okay, so they will win this game. Probably.
Jameis Winston is an interesting player to play because Jameis Winston, I'd much rather face Russell Wilson than him if I'm the Green Bay Packers.
Me too.
Because Russell Wilson, I think, is just not very good anymore. Jameis Winston is the ultimate gambler. He is introducing a lot of variance into this game. He's going to throw for a bunch of yards. He's probably going to throw for a couple touchdowns. He's probably going to throw some of the worst interceptions you've ever seen. But if you look at who Jameis Winston as a player is, he's going to be aggressive and always take the risk. And I think that fits well with an interim coach starting. Mike Kafka is going to be doing his first game as the head coach for the Giants. Like, this is a Giants team that's in a lot of turmoil right now. But even though they've got talent, stop me if you've heard this before, I can't see Jameis Winston beating the Green Bay Packers defense.
I mean, listen, the Giants right now, if you were to look at the sum of their team, right, coming into the year, are playing this game with their third string quarterback, without Cam Scattaboo, he's gone. Without Malik Neighbors, their number one receiver, he's gone. And it's the week after they fired their head coach. This would be
the worst loss of the season by a significant
margin. This would just be a devastating. It would be a season-ending loss for the Packers if they were to lose this one. There's just nothing there in New York right now. There's nothing other than the defensive line. And, I mean, Brian Burns has been great. Dexter Lawrence is great. And if those guys have, a field day on a weak Packers offensive line and Love turns the ball over a few times, it's any given Sunday. But this would just, This is a great bounce back game for the Packers, and it's one that they need to win. I don't even think they need to win with conviction. They just need to have a solid football game. If they win by 10 points, they win by 7, but they play well. That's all they need to do. Because it's a shit show in New York.
Play well. They've lost 2 games in a row. The time for we need to win by enough points that we feel confident is over. The Green Bay Packers have to stop losing.
So as far as injuries go in this one, the Packers are pretty banged up. A lot of questionable guys. And I'm not sure, Ziggy, if you've seen it now, because I didn't even see the Winston announcement. Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Golden, Dobbs, both questionable. Dobbs left the game with the chest injury. Remember that against the Eagles this week. You still have Jaden Reed out. Obviously, everyone knows Tucker Kraft is out. Elton Jenkins is out. Elton Jenkins out. He's going to be out for a long time. Maybe
he's probably played his last down as a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, maybe the season. Nate Hobbs questionable defensively. Lucas Van Ness questionable as well. So it's not like, despite all those guys I said that are out for the Giants, the Packers have been bit by the injury bug pretty bad. Fortunately for them, They are one of the deeper teams in the league. Sean Ryan replacing Jenkins, a solid backup there, someone who's played a lot. It's good that they're 5 deep at receiver because so many dudes have been banged up there. Musgrave, solid tight end filling in. It's not quite the star power of some of the guys who we see out right now, but I would say functional backups are coming in. But to me, yeah, this offensive line has a big challenge ahead of them. If we're going to start with the Packers offense, the offensive line has a really big challenge against one of the best D lines in football. And if they hold up, Jordan Love should be able to pick apart a Giants secondary that has just been god awful this year. I was talking with one of our good buddy Aiden Cook, and he said, "You want to piss off a Giants fan? Just say the name Deonte Banks, and you'll get the job done." Their pass defense was 30, 27, like 23rd in the league at 230 yards per game. They're 6th worst in scoring, 27.3 points per game allowed. It's been really bad, and this was a unit that was supposed to be good coming into the season, and is one of the reasons Daboll was fired. Frankly, is for his inability to hold dudes accountable, including defensive coordinators. So this should be a field day.
And not just that, that's not the weak part of the defense. The weak part of the defense somehow, despite them having one of the worst pass defenses in the league, is the run defense. 31st in rushing yards allowed, 31st in rushing touchdowns allowed. So for a Green Bay team that is trying to rebuild their run game, that is trying to get some consistency in the pass game, I meant it when I said the Giants are one of the worst defensive matchups in the NFL. The only team I think that's significantly worse than them on defense is
Bengals.
the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, that's it. Those, I think, are the two, despite the pass rush talent on the defensive line. That is all the Giants have going for them. If Matt LaFleur does not come in with a game plan to be able to effectively run the ball and get quick passes out, which is what they struggled so much with against Philly, if you can't do it against the Giants, you can't do it against anybody.
Yeah. No. Again, it would just be an unfathomable loss for
cataclysmic, you might say.
Yeah, for Green Bay. And I bet we have a couple Giants fans who are tuning into this. I don't want to just get on the Giants and rag on them for an entire episode. I think they have a pretty bright future, actually. I believe in Jackson Dart. He looked great. He outplayed Caleb Williams last weekend before he got hurt. And with all the guys that will be coming back next season, I think they're in a really nice place to have this rebuild once they find their next head coach.
They're just all their good players as outside of the defensive line are injured.
Yeah. And a lot of people were upset. I'm not going to turn this into a Giants futuristic episode, but just a couple notes, because I think this is the priority focus of the Giants fans should be. We find our next coach has to be the right fit with Dart. And if you do that, we'll see who it winds up being. My guess right now, if you made me pick, I actually think it would be Mike McCarthy. It's someone that Packers fans are very familiar with. And I don't think that would be a bad hire, even though Giants fans probably wouldn't be too happy with it. But if you nail that, there's a lot of talent on this team. As you said, most of them are just hurt right now. I actually think you could argue, and we said this on the phone the other day, you could argue that the Giants are in a better position moving forward than our Vikings are. And that really just comes down to what you think of Dart. How do you rank Dart, McCarthy, and O'Connell as far as guys you want to put your stock in moving forward? I would probably rank it O'Connell, Dart, McCarthy, and go with the Vikings future. But if you're a Dart guy, if he's number one on that list, you pick the Giants and you go with them. The team has talent. It's just not currently active talent, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. But
yeah, I mean, Gunnar Olszewski is a starting wide receiver in this game.
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want to talk about as far as the Packer defense here? You should dominate this game. You should Micah should have a big day. The defensive line should get after Winston, and he makes mistakes. I mean, this is a guy who threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks a handful of years ago. Whenever he's in, there is excitement, but there's also disastrous moments. He's a fun quarterback to watch. But if you're going to get torn apart by Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Gunnar, I can't even say, and Gunnar against Winston, Like, that's it. And this defense has been so good for the past few weeks that it would be almost impossible to see that happening.
Yeah, this defense shut down the Philadelphia Eagles. I am not worried at all about the Green Bay Packers defense.
Yeah, they should be fine in this one. And they've forced a turnover now in 4 straight games after having a lot of turnover problems. They're still -1 in turnover differential on the season.
You have to finish this game with a positive turnover differential. If you can't.
Well, and look, they can even win this one if it comes down to another game where the Packers are making just boneheaded mistakes. Sometimes not even boneheaded, right? Sometimes it's just you have a play like the end of the first half against Dallas where Jordan fumbles, and the next play was ridiculous when you allow Pickens to have the 15-yard touchdown on one play. I don't know how you can't have that. That's where there's been a couple questionable moments for the Packers is, yeah, Cowboys have the ball on the 15-yard line. They have time for one play. How can you not possibly have 5 guys spread across the goal line? So anything underneath is tackled, right? And they hit Pickens on the slant. He waltzes into the end zone, and it's like, are you serious right now? They've had so many moments like that this year. Love's interception against Cleveland, and then the Browns score the touchdown. Love's fumble against Philly on Monday Night Football. And I know I'm just picking on Jordan right now, but there's been a lot of other people contributing to this too. They just have made big time mistakes that cost them in these games. And this is one where I think you could still get away with it because the Giants are just they're not a big threat in this one.
But I don't want to see it.
But yeah, you don't want to see it if you're a Packer fan. So yeah, we'll see. And Toyotathon should be going by then. So that should bode well for Green Bay as well. All right, Ziggy. Packers are 7-point favorites. What's your pick?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, you'll never do it again. But I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to cover the spread. They can't. It's mind-boggling. I believe in the talent on this team. And our comments still, people tell me you're crazy for believing this team is talent. The talent between where the Green Bay Packers are right now and where the New York Football Giants are right now it's Grand Canyon sized. I refuse to believe the Packers can't win this by more than a touchdown. So I'm taking the Packers to cover.
I'm trying to think.
You can't sit here with a straight face and say anything else. I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, they are a lot more talented. And I've fallen off on Green Bay a lot over the past few weeks. The end of the Pittsburgh game was great, but the last 2 weeks have been an absolute disaster for them. It's as down as I've seen their fan base since we really, picked them up a couple years ago. And just as a guy who's been tapped into the NFC North for my whole life, this is about as down as I've seen Packers fans in a competitive year, right? Outside of Rodgers getting hurt or something like that. So this has to be the bounce back. And if it's not, it's going to get really ugly. I can honestly, if they lost to the Giants, LaFleur won't be fired, but people will immediately be calling for his head. Like that
LaFleur will be fired. Maybe not this week, but a loss to the Giants here is the effective end of his Packers tenure.
Yes, barring some miracle run, but I can't see a world where they lose to the Giants. And if they lose to the Giants and go to the NFC Championship game, LaFleur's coming back.
You get what I mean. It would take something outstanding.
Yeah, you lose to the Giants, they're not doing that. So season on the line, career's on the line in this game. I'm also picking the Packers. I think they're going to win. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. Honestly, maybe more. But every time we've said that, they've disappointed. So just win the game. If you're a Packer fan, you just win the game. I mean, I'm not saying, look, they could lose. For all I care, it would be great to see that blow up in their face. I just don't expect it.
No, it would challenge everything I know about football if the Packers lose this game, and I can't do that kind of self-searching. Please win this game.
We'll wrap it up there. Again, we have a Vikings-Bears preview out. I'm not sure the exact order these are going to drop, but we'll have a Vikings-Bears preview. We'll have an Eagles-Lions at some point. Keep refreshing the page on for the Thursday here. And the Week 11 full prediction episode with Jack, Ziggy, Zach. Actually, Zach won't be there, but power rankings, game picks, that'll come out Friday morning. We'll see you soon.